Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Search.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Real quick. In 3, 2, 1, go.
You really felt a need to stop me?
Yeah.
Just to do a countdown?
We gotta have the countdown.
Oh yeah.
I do the countdown every time. Why are we not gonna have a countdown?
It would just thrown everything off if I
See,
just...
now I did the countdown and now you didn't start it.
Now you're just interrupting the show. It's 9:33 at night. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Search for Awesome podcast. I'm Titus.
And I'm Michael. Michael.
Get it together, man.
Identity crisis.
This week on the podcast, we're talking about Android Pay switching to Google Pay.
Oh, yeah.
The Mobile World Congress. Listen, Mikey, I'm talking right now. You need to hush your mouth.
I got excited. I apologize.
Mobile World Congress news, including the new Galaxy 9. Ooh. I don't know why I put that in the notes. In case I forgot to say ooh. It made it so much more enticing.
Yeah.
And we discuss if the phone industry is dying and what might take its place.
We're also going to be talking about the best spider ever. Sure. Whatever Mikey wants. Yeah, whatever I want. And we'll also respond to some feedback.
You're supposed to insert the thing that you were wanting to talk about, Mikey, and
Anchor.
Whatever Mikey wants.
Yeah, Anchor. Yeah.
Anchor. Okay,
yeah.
There it is. We're going to talk about Anchor. All right, for the first bit of news, Android Pay is switching to Google Pay. And Mikey, you brought this to my attention. I don't really use Google Pay or Android Pay at all, so I'm going to let you take this one away, man.
Okay, so to me, the whole Android Pay versus Google Pay is kind of hazy. I never really understood because I never used Google Pay. I don't know exactly what that was before this moment. I used Android Pay and I used Google Wallet. To be honest with you, until recently, I didn't even really use Android Pay. It was kind of, it was almost like they had an identity crisis. They really didn't know what direction they want to go. So it seemed like they were just trying a couple different directions with a couple different apps to see what worked. So they've kind of condensed that now. And now they have one app and it's Google Pay. Before they did that, I've been noticing lately that Android Pay got a lot easier to use, and I didn't notice it on purpose. I noticed it because I would leave my debit card at home on accident, and then I would need something to use to actually pay for the stuff that I just put in my grocery cart. So I used Android Pay, but now that they've switched it into Google Pay, it's got even nicer. It's all one app. Everything's in there. You can load your gift cards in there. You can load your rewards cards in there, your credit cards, load everything that you possibly need. And it's beautiful looking. It's got a clean interface and it works really well. The locations that you can use it at are way more frequent now. I live in a small town and being able to use it almost anywhere I go in my area is super convenient.
So were there things that accepted Android Pay and not Google Pay?
I don't know that you could use Google Pay like you could Android Pay as far as to pay at a location.
Oh, so Google Pay was like their online payment system.
From my understanding, yes.
So Android Pay was like if you want to tap your phone or something like that.
Correct. Now, anywhere that has the Android Pay or there's a little logo, maybe
wow,
we
that
can
is
find
confusing.
a photo for it.
And you said something about Android Wallet? What the heck?
There was a Google Wallet at one point.
Google Wallet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was totally confusing before. You didn't know which was used for which. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. Now it does. Now you have one app. It's Google Pay. You can do it all right there. You can see your transactions in the app. You can see stores around you that you can use. You can also see stores online that you can use it for.
So do you not carry your wallet around as much now that you use...
So I still carry my wallet because I have certain IDs and stuff that I keep in there, but I don't carry around my debit card as much. One of the things that I started doing a lot was not carrying around a debit card. So I wouldn't feel the need to use it as often. For, budgeting purposes. But in doing that, I found myself in situations where I needed it, but didn't have it. Well, then come to find out, I could use Android Pay. So it's been super convenient. It's also hindered me a little bit because I'm trying to use my debit card less. And now I could just use my phone everywhere. But that's not at fault to them. That's more of a me problem. Yeah, everywhere I go, I can pretty much use it. If I can't use it at that particular store, I can find a store that's just like it and use it there.
So it sounds like they just made this whole thing a lot easier to understand because just you explaining that to me was very confusing.
Yes.
So it's all just on one platform now. So it's all Google Pay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
and it's sleek. You just unlock it and tap, and it works.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just write checks for everything.
That sounds super inconvenient. Like I feel like we write a check once a month for rent, and why you would want to do that other than to torture yourself. I don't know.
Obviously, you know Mikey, but that was a total joke. Everyone else, that was a total joke. I've never written a check in my life. Actually, Leslie writes all the checks. I just tell her what to write them for.
Leslie, I need a check for McDonald's real quick, please.
Mobile World Congress was this week. That's MWC 2018. They announced a lot of interesting phones, sort of. The first one we'll talk about is probably the one that most people are going to be interested in, is the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. They announced some interesting features, but we'll just go through them real quick. Some of them not so unique. First off, they're having one called AR emojis, augmented reality emojis. So it's basically a knockoff of Animojis. But the difference between this is somehow it takes a picture of you and turns you into a cartoon character that looks kind of like those Xbox 360 characters that you could used to make, but not as good, I think, that you could make years ago really easily. It has the Snapdragon 845 and basically mostly the same features as last year with a couple of changes. The Plus has an extra camera, so the Plus version, the big one, has an additional camera for portraits, and it actually does capture slow mode, like a slow motion mode, at 960 frames per second. A 1 second video of 960 frames per second, that would be the equivalent of 40 regular seconds. So it can slow down a second into 40 seconds. And I believe it's only in 720p, but it's really impressive. I saw some of the video clips coming from it from MKBHD and CNET, and it looked pretty cool. It still has the headphone jack and SD card slot, which that is a plus, as I complained about in a recent...
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness.
I know, thank you. I'm so tired of companies thinking that those are acceptable to get rid of. But the biggest change they made was that they made a big change to the main camera. And this is both on the regular and Plus versions. And basically, the camera can change its aperture, which is a very technical way to say that basically it has a real low light mode now. So basically, whenever you're in a low light situation, the camera can open up a little bit more and get in more light so you can get better pictures in low light. And it actually sounds pretty cool on paper. And although all these are cool features, I gotta say I was pretty underwhelmed by the S9. I don't think I will be getting one. They also announced the LG V30S, and I think it's actually called the V30S Thin Q. Not too much to say. I kind of like that LG basically went with the name that they used last year. So they launched the V30 last year. This year they just added a couple things. They added an AI camera, which basically like you take pictures and it can like see things in the pictures, and like you can go to a store and take a picture of something, and then you can buy it online instead of at the store that you're at, I guess. Why you do that, I don't know. But the V30 was a cool phone because you could, they seem to take video really seriously, and they had like really high quality audio recording and like manual video controls and video, which most phones don't do that. These next couple phones are probably a little more interesting. So
now hold on a second. These first two, I gotta ask. What's different from the phones that they created before these, and what's different from these than the other phones?
Well, I'm not a marketing spinster, but
you already know. You already know with me. This is a trick question. There are a few things that are minorly different. You know, the camera is a little better, the processor is a little faster, the display is a little better. Sure, that's great, but like, what's different? Where's that wow factor? Where's that wow? This is the phone I've gotta have.
Yeah, that's just not that anymore. It's just like a nicer version of the phone they released last year with a couple of bells and whistles.
Look,
there's just nothing.
I feel like that's a bigger subject. Why don't we get through the rest of these phones, and then we'll come back to that, because I got a lot to say about that personally.
Yeah, let's talk about these other phones. Yeah, good point. So there was also Nokia 8110. This might be the most exciting thing for some people. Not for me, though. This is a 20-year-old phone they're relaunching. It was a phone that they used in the Matrix. That's one reason why it's like a well-known phone. They're dubbing it the banana phone because it's yellow, or like the one of them they're releasing is yellow.
In the shape.
Yeah. Oh, in this shape. Yeah, I guess it's kind of curved or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't understand that. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Mikey. I mean, it's $79, but like seriously, who's gonna buy this thing?
I think you're going to have people that are going to want to buy this at the price. I think there is a market out there for people who want like a nice phone, maybe even a little bit of nostalgia in there, but they don't necessarily want some high-end Android phone, and they don't want a budget one either, right? So they just want something neat, something simple, and I feel like that kind of fits the bill. It's neat, but it's still nice looking. I'm not sure. I feel like it's more of a marketing gimmick than it is anything.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think this is. I think it's just a company trying to profit off nostalgia. That's what I think this is.
I can't argue with you there, and they're not going to make a lot of money off this phone.
I don't know. Nokia didn't stop there, though, so they did actually release a real phone. And yes, I said a real phone, and I feel fine about that. It's called the Sirocco. I think that's how you say it. And it's basically just a nice phone, but there's really nothing special about it. I didn't see anything that I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. It's just a...
I mean, not only is it more expensive with nothing that's over the top, I feel kind of disappointed from Nokia, right? Because Nokia has been kind of taking a backseat in the game for a little while now. But Nokia, I mean, if it wasn't for Nokia, I feel like phones wouldn't be where they're at today. I mean, they were really kind of pioneers here in the early cell phone game. I mean, they really came out with cutting edge phones and really kind of helped push the envelope towards the beginning of cell phones before you started getting the iPhone and Android phones and everything. But
yeah,
not only are they charging way more, but they're not even releasing these in the US. They want to be one of the top companies in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and that was news to me. You told me that a little earlier, and I didn't know they weren't releasing these in the US. I have the Nokia Sirocco. It's supposed to be in US dollars, $925. So it's quite a bit more expensive than the S9. But they're not even releasing it in the US, which is just like, what are you thinking? Exactly what you just said.
And that came from an interview straight from the CEO. So this isn't like some misinformation here. This was an interview with the CEO of HMD.
I think Nokia just lives in their own little bubble, and they just keep revisiting the past. Because I don't think this is the first time they've released an old phone. And
no, I don't think so either.
I don't understand Nokia. I don't understand BlackBerry either. And BlackBerry also apparently wants to be a big player, although I didn't really see any announcements from them. I think there was something, but it didn't really catch my interest. But there is another phone that did catch my interest. So you were talking about innovative phone. This phone right here is kind of innovative. But here's the catch about this one. This is the coolest phone that you're never going to buy, Mikey. It's called the Vivo Apex. It's got a fingerprint sensor under the glass. So like on the actual screen, you can actually put your finger on there and it will sense it, and then it will actually open and unlock the phone. In fact, I think that's what I read. The entire bottom half of the phone is a fingerprint sensor. And what's cool about this technology is it can actually be extra secure because they have technology where you can actually use 2 thumbs to unlock your phone if you want to. So you have to put both your thumbs on there, or both 2 fingers, or whatever you want to do. You put these 2 fingers or whatever, and it'll use those to unlock the phone. This is really cool tech, and from what I understand, I actually saw an MKBHD video. They are using a camera sensor underneath the glass, and then what they're doing is whenever the fingerprint sensor is going to scan your finger, the screen in the area where your finger is will brighten up to where the camera can see your finger, and it'll take a high-resolution picture of your fingerprint, and then it'll compare it to the one it has stored inside the phone. If it matches, it'll let you in. And it does it really fast, too. So it's a really cool piece of technology. Also, on the front, it's got a full frontal display. But the problem with doing that is there was no room for a front-facing camera. So there's a little bit of a drawback there. So what they did to solve that problem was they have a pop-up selfie camera. So it actually is a camera that pops up off the top to take pictures.
Let me interrupt. I'm sorry. That sounds like one of the coolest things that ever would have happened in like 94.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's such like an old school kind of thing. I don't get it. I think it's neat, but it's one of those, it's not very practical, right? And how long before it breaks? And what
Yeah,
kind of
that's just
case are
an
you
extra
gonna
thing to
what kind of case are you gonna put on your phone, right? Because everybody wants to put it in their OtterBox or their, life-proof case to keep it safe. What kind of case are you gonna put this in? I don't know. I feel like that's like a goofy thing that like would be so cool if we were in middle school.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. It's kind of silly, and it's one of those things that, like, if you had thought about it for 2 seconds, Vivo, that you'd realize that maybe people don't want a completely display phone. Maybe you could just carve up a little bit of space for some other things. But anyway, they also did some other interesting things. If I read this right, they're actually getting the sound. So the speakers on the phone actually come out by vibration. So it actually doesn't have traditional speaker grills. Somehow, through the vibration in the phone, it can actually produce sound without a speaker grill. So really cool,
That does
really
sound
high
pretty neat.
tech. Also something that you will never buy. Let's just be honest. This thing is not going to be out for a while. There's no word when it's going to be out. Also, I've never heard of the company Vivo before, but I don't think I'm that excited about their phones.
Did they have a price point for it?
No, I don't think there's even a price point. And this isn't changing the industry either. Like, these are cool ideas. And don't get me wrong, the fingerprint sensor thing, like, that's going to make it into phones someday. I would be very surprised if it didn't. But let's be honest, you're never going to buy this thing. But it is really cool, and it is really cool to see what the future of smartphones could possibly be.
But you got to give them credit here. I feel like at least they're trying to push the envelope here. I mean, compared to, Samsung and Nokia or whatever, and LG, I feel like they're not even really trying. Like they've got comfortable knowing that we'll just buy their new phones year after year, and so they don't have to try that hard. At least Vivo is trying to mix it up a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe they didn't make all the best decisions here, but who knows? Maybe we'll see some better stuff from them. I mean,
at least it's different.
Yeah.
Somebody will buy this phone, just not you.
Yeah.
Or me or anybody watching this podcast.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads us to talk about, is innovation in the smartphone industry dying?
I don't want to say that it's dying, but I feel like watching the little bit of clips I did from MWC, this is the era of copy and paste. We're on a mobile phone, copy and paste. I mean, I feel like the people that are writing these articles, CNET, The Verge, and Gadget, I feel like they can take the same articles that they wrote last year and just tweak it a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's make sure we change
835. It's 845 now.
Yeah, okay. Don't forget to change the memory. They upgraded the memory. It now has 12 more gigabytes. Let's cut the crap here. Like we're just copying what we did last year, and we're just tweaking it a little bit, and that's supposed to be good enough. And
one might call it refinement if they were trying to be nice to themselves.
When you're charging me $1,000, up to $1,000 for these phones, I don't think it's refinement. I don't want to blame this on the companies, right? Because we've created this environment because we demand more and more year after year after year, and we continue to buy these phones. Of course, if they can get away with just changing it a little bit without having to find some way to be extremely creative, they're going to. They're not going to, really jump off the cliff here with some crazy design if we're not going to sit back and stop buying their devices till they do it.
Yeah, I think what it is that smartphone manufacturers have tried so many gimmicks that haven't actually made the formula, and they've refined and refined and refined, and they've now have a phone that most people, this is a phone that's almost 2 years old now. I'm still pretty happy with this phone. This is the OnePlus 3. It's still a great phone. Like, it doesn't look that much different than the phones today. The screen's not as big, but like, what am I getting for those extra millimeters of screen space? They're just refining and tweaking, making things slightly better. It's not really forcing people to feel like, at least I don't think for me, like, I don't feel like I need to upgrade anymore.
If you upgrade to the Google Pixel 2 XL or the Google Pixel 2, you can squeeze your phone to bring up Google Assistant. So you just have to pay like a couple $100 more and you can squeeze your phone.
Wait. I could do like this. I could just squeeze it. Oh, mine did it. I think I hit the power button. Oops.
I mean, like...
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting features. And like, don't get me wrong, like, I think they'll try, they're tweaking. They're not doing anything innovative anymore. And even when we see something innovative, it's mostly a gimmick. Like, come on, let's be honest. No one's going to do what the pop-up camera, that's not going to be a thing. It's never going to be a thing. The idea of like this, the speakers going through the phone, if it sounds better than regular speakers, then great. If it doesn't, they're going to ditch it. And there's not really wow feature or wow factor anymore. Here's what I want to say about this. You might think that what you're hearing is do what we think the smartphone industry is dying. And that's not really what's happening here. It's just the innovation inside of smartphones is dying. The reason why I don't think the smartphone industry is dying is because even though, like, if I bought a new phone and I upgraded my OnePlus 3, I'm not really getting a phone that's that much better than this phone. But even right now, this one's not even 2 years old yet. I have a problem with it. The back camera won't autofocus anymore. Everything else is great about this phone, but the back camera won't autofocus. And here's the thing, we use the crap out of our phones. What happens is we wear them out and like problems crop up and like things keep happening. And like eventually it gets to the point where it's time to upgrade. And, and so even though like I'm sad that innovation in smartphones is dying, I don't think the smartphone industry is going anywhere. People still need to upgrade their phones. The lifespan's so short because we use it so much. On a laptop, this MacBook Air, I've had this thing for, I literally just upgraded. I had it for like 3 or 4 years, and it's still usable. My wife uses it. I still use it for things. But phones, I think we just go through like hotcakes, man. We just wear them out. They're like tires, basically. Like you have to upgrade, you have to switch them out every couple of years.
So I'd like to ask you, because I feel like you've made a few comments here. Where do you think it's going then? Like where do we go from here? Like what things are going to take us to the next edge? Because we have to have some sort of idea of that, right? Like we can't just sit here and say, oh, the innovation is dying, they're not doing anything. Like if we can't come up with ideas of what we think would be good ideas, then how can we expect them to?
Yeah, and I think what's happened is that we've reached our limit on what we can do that's truly innovative with a phone. And here's what I think, and I'm so glad you asked me that question, Mikey. It's almost like we planned this.
The setup.
So here's what I want to do for this next part of the podcast. I'm going to make a prediction. I think within the next 10 years, smartphones are going to be essentially replaced. Not exactly replaced. I'll explain what I mean, but essentially replaced. It's not going to be the center of your life anymore. Something else is going to take its spot. I'm going to make a prediction. I feel really strongly about this. Mikey, I want you to let me know, after I get done with it, I want you to give me a rating, 1 to 10, how much in agreement you are with me. And you can be honest. You can say 1 because I don't really agree with you, or 10 if you think I'm awesome, or 5 if you just want to sit on the fence. That's fine too. I want to talk to you guys about what I think is going to be the next big thing. To do that, I'm going to kind of go back a step and explain why the phone took off the way it did. So the PC used to be the central hub, so the computer. This used to be the central hub of everything you did with the internet. It switched to the phone. Why did it switch to the phone, Mikey? What do you think?
Because it was easy. It was convenient.
Exactly.
You could take it with you everywhere. Put it in your pocket.
Yeah, you have access to your internet anywhere. So the next big thing has to be more convenient than this. That right? Would you agree with me on that one?
I completely agree with you.
What gets much more convenient than being in your pocket? What I'm going to tell you is the next big thing, and just hear me out. The next big thing is the cloud. The cloud is going to be the center of everything you do digitally. Now, you might be saying, Titus, the cloud has been here for a while. It hasn't replaced the smartphone. Why hasn't it done that? Well, I would also say cell phones have been around for a long time, and it didn't immediately replace the PC. It wasn't until they became smarter and basically more user-friendly, and innovation happened, and we finally reach the potential of what you can do on a smartphone. But after some tweaking and innovation, I think the cloud is going to be the center of everything. Now, here's why. Imagine when you travel, you don't need to actually bring anything with you. You don't need this anymore. Maybe all you need is a shell of this, a dumb phone, a phone that has a battery and then a way to access the internet, and then everything else is in the cloud. So whenever you pull your phone out, you have a super fast, like phones are fast now. I'm talking blazing fast. I'm talking about like you could like edit like a 8K movie on your phone or play stinking like 4K Ultra HD video games on your phone because the cloud is so much more powerful than your mobile phone.
Now, when you say on your phone, technically what you're saying is like not on your phone. You're viewing it and you're accessing it on your phone. But that that 8K video you're editing is not even there.
No, it's not.
You're doing it on the cloud.
You're seeing it through your phone, but it's all being powered through the cloud. What that means is your phone can get a lot more simple. It needs a camera, it needs a good camera, it needs a battery, it needs some parts. But what can happen is most of the phone can be battery. And because what it's doing is so much more simple, the battery life on your phone will be measured in weeks and not hours, because it'll be a much more simple product and it'll be super fast, blazing fast. Now, imagine you're traveling, right? You get in your plane seat. The tray in front of you is a dumb computer, kind of like the shell that your phone is now. You put your fingerprint in, you do a face scan, whatever security you want, and boom, everything that all your work documents, all your games, all your movies are immediately right in front of you. Or even better yet, they give you a VR headset. You put the VR headset on. It does an iris scan or whatever. Boom, all your content, all the stuff that, like all your work stuff, whatever. You maybe have a keyboard and mouse in front of you and you're seeing all your work stuff. You can do whatever you want. Everything is right there, right in front of you. And everything is just kind of dumb devices that's being powered by the cloud. Also, I see a lot of really cool potential business opportunities. Imagine the cloud knows that you're on a flight, and maybe that airline has different deals with different media companies and game companies and movie companies. And then you go into your cloud experience, and then now there's a new folder or whatever that's just stuff that the airline's going to let you benefit from or play with or watch. And, it's all sitting right there. And you can go through the catalog for a couple hours until your flight's over. And then as maybe the flight's getting ready to end, maybe they're like, hey, you've been playing this new AAA game for 5 hours. Maybe you want to keep the good times rolling. Here's a 50% off coupon if you want to buy it right now or whatever. And then you would click buy, and you come home later that day, and you pick up exactly where you left off instantly on any of your devices in front of you. And really, apps won't be apps in the traditional sense. They'll be more like websites that you can browse and have immediate access to try or buy. So if you want to try a competitor to Photoshop, you can try it instantly. And if you like it, you can then add it to your cloud without any installations or anything. You would have immediate access to any software that you might want. Everything is there. Everything is optimized for the device that you're on. You could do even crazy things like, I was thinking about this the other day. If I was editing through the cloud versus editing through my computer, it would be faster, it would be better. And what I could do is, let's say I could actually have like touch controls on my phone. I could have on my laptop screen, I could be seeing all my controls for that same exact video. I could have a tablet over here that's playing my video, and all of them would work in tandem all at the same time. So I could have the most customized experience that possible, and all of them would be working and communicating together, and all would be powered through the cloud. I could do basically whatever I want. I'm not limited by how powerful my device is.
Not only that, from what it sounds like you're saying, like, since it's in the cloud already, when you're done with it, you don't even have to sit there and wait hours for it to upload because it's already there in the cloud.
Yeah, everything would be instant. And here's another thing. You get home, you've been taking pictures on your phone all day, you go on your big screen TV, all of your videos and pictures are already on there's no uploading or anything. You take a picture, it immediately uploads to the cloud. Also, imagine paying for things. You wouldn't need a wallet, you wouldn't need a credit card, you wouldn't need a phone, just some kind of a biometric scan so whoever you're trying to buy something from knows who you are, and then you could scroll through and choose whatever payment method you have attached to yourself in the cloud. So a fingerprint scan or an iris scan, and now you're purchasing things without the need for anything else. And not installing things would be really cool as well. You'd have immediate access to anything you could want. There's this new AAA game that just got launched and you've been wanting to play it, one click and you are playing it. You are in the game. You are in matchmaking mode. You are in the mix of playing the game because that game is hosted in the cloud and is already installed there, so you don't need to install it on your device. What's really cool about that is I think it's a really freeing thing. If you're not tied to this anymore, that means you could even leave this at home and then they're just public computers all over the place. You just put your fingerprint on it. Boom. There is all of your files, your programs, all of your apps, your pictures, everything that you could possibly need is available right in front of you, anywhere. And let's say you forget your phone at home and you make an emergency call. I say, hey, Mikey, could I borrow your phone for a second? I put my fingerprint on your phone. All my apps and everything are just boom on your phone. And then when I'm done with your phone, I hand it right back to you. You put your fingerprint on it. It's right back to being your phone.
Oh, nice.
And so now you tell me, like, does that not sound like more convenient and better than having the phone be the center of your life?
Well, so at the beginning of this, you asked me to give you a 1 through 10 here. I'd have to say a 10. I mean, I definitely think that's a way forward, and the way we're gonna make progress here and actually make things better. The only question I would have is, who's making money here, right? Because if we're making this public access or whatever, and you don't necessarily need to buy devices anymore, what I mean, where does Samsung fit in? Where does Apple fit in? Where do these devices fit in, right? Because if you're gonna have public access to this information, what do I need to buy these phones and stuff for? So I don't know, like where do they fit into this?
Well, I mean, I think the company I think should probably be the most scared of this would be companies like Samsung and Apple. But Samsung does make things other than technology devices, but they can still make hardware, and basically like it's whatever flavor of the cloud you want the best. If you want the iOS version, then you can be in the iOS ecosystem, and or if they want to go that way, which they probably won't because they're a hardware company. But if you're, I think Google or Microsoft or Amazon, whoever of those three, or maybe even another party, could be the ones to kind of pilot this thing. But what's really cool about this whole idea is it means your devices get a lot cheaper. I just dropped mine, but I need a phone now. But your
Wouldn't be that
devices
big
get a
of a
lot.
deal if it was all in the cloud.
Yeah, and I can go to the store. That's the other thing. Like, there's no setups or anything. That's the other thing I like about this idea. Fingerprint, boom, my phone's set up. You set it up literally one time for your entire lifetime, and then you make tweaks as your needs change. The interface will change based on whatever device you're using it on. So, like, if you're using it on your laptop, it'll be a more Windows-like experience. If you're using it on your phone, it'll be a more Android-like experience. If you're using it in VR, it'll be a totally different experience. And I just think there's so many opportunities. Where they make money and stuff like that is, I think really it's the software companies that are going to make the money, is because you still need great apps. You need the apps to work in all these different environments. Anyone who's producing content, video game creators and stuff like that, there's plenty of room for them. And there's still room for hardware, because I might have a phone and 10 different tablet sizes because they're all really cheap, because they're really basic things. They just have a screen and a camera and then just connect to the internet, because everything gets a lot cheaper because all the real work is being done in the cloud.
And let's not forget, I mean, for companies like Samsung, Western Digital, Intel, HP, this would be great news for them, because they can build the hardware that helps run the cloud, right? Because
That's true.
I mean, it's all going to be run on something. There's no magical cloud here. This is all servers and, data storage.
And that's the big thing, is that it has to be more convenient. And I think right now everything's so sporadic and spread out. The company that figures out how to bring it all together, they're going to own the future as far as I'm concerned. Because,
well,
tell me that's not a more preferred future.
And you can't tell me that the company that seems like they're heading mostly in that direction is not Google. I mean, when you look at the Chromebooks, I mean, that's what you're already looking at. You've already kind of got that concept a little bit. It's not as far of a reach as you're talking here, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, potentially. And I know Amazon is being really strong with their cloud.
Oh, definitely.
Like the AWS has been like a huge thing. And like that's the thing. Cloud has already been like a staple in the business world. It's only a matter of time before, like smartphones, where were they a staple first? Business world. It's only a matter of time before they make it outside of that. And we experience the convenience that is having everything in a central location. But here's the best part. If you think this is a scary future, or you think this is like, I don't know if I really like the idea of all this, because I don't want technology taking over my life, I think it'll be a really freeing experience, because you wouldn't even really have to bring your phone around anymore. Like, you could literally leave your phone at home all day and be okay, because you're within a few feet of any point from a computer that you could just instantly access and have access to all your contacts, everything that you could possibly need at any moment. Imagine traveling and you don't need to bring a laptop or anything. You just bring yourself. All you need is your Retina to log in, or whatever login device. It's a cool future. I really think that's the future. And give it 10 years. If it's 10 years from now and you're watching this, comment below. Was I right? I don't know why I'm talking to people from 10 years in the future. It just was kind of silly. But I mean, to be fair, I don't know that this is going to be the future. Nobody knows. But I think the cloud has the biggest shot of replacing the smartphone. And if you're in the tech industry, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all you people, I would start adjusting now. especially you, Apple, because I think Apple's the most vulnerable here because they are a hardware company. They make money off their hardware. It's going to be a software future. Everything's going to go digital. So that's my opinion. All right, so the past few weeks we've been talking about our favorite podcasts, but one of my favorite segments we do on the Search for Awesome podcast is What's Awesome This Week. It's where I present something that I think is awesome to Mikey and to you guys, and then Mikey, you present something that you think is awesome to myself and to you guys. So, all right, we're going to talk about what's awesome this week. And so what's awesome this week for me, I got to tell you a story, Mikey, to tee this up. So I was at a work birthday party, and we do this thing where we all get together in the kitchen, and then we have cake, and then we just kind of stand around. And I saw in the middle of everybody, literally in the center of this circle of coworkers, there was a spider that was just crawling in the middle of the floor. Now, normally, I would squish it. And I'm sorry to those of you that would offend you, but normally I would squish it. But it's a spider, I'm going to kill it. But for some reason, I didn't in this case. And I kept an eye on it, though. I was going to make sure it wasn't going to get on somebody and attack. And I started thinking about it was like, why did I not squish it? Because like normally I would like make a scene and like stop what I'm doing immediately and just kill that sucker. And it hit me. It's because of this new YouTube videos that have been out called Lucas. Have you seen Lucas, Mikey?
Yes.
Have you really?
Yes, I have. Unfortunately.
What? What's wrong with you?
Okay,
Lucas
so
is the best thing ever.
I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I hate spiders. I'm terrified of them. Like, awfully. Like, I'm literally the one climbing on the table to get away from the spider. That's me. I probably, if I was there at that office party, I probably would have burnt the office down just to make sure that the spider didn't get me.
Well, you gotta be sure.
Yeah, you can never be too sure. And that stupid little Lucas. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound mean. I can't. The spider. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so cute. How can you be scared of it?" I don't know. It's still a spider. It's still terrifying. And his little voice. I don't know, because then I just imagine his little voice coming to attack me. I don't know. I can't do it.
What is wrong with you?
I don't. Lucas, like literally everyone at my work talks about it. They're like, "Oh, there's a new Lucas video. It's so cute." And I'm like, "Stop."
Lucas is a saint. Okay, he would never. He's supposed to slide around in the thing, and he goes down the hole and stuff.
Yeah, okay. and I just want to stomp him with my little boot and just be done with it.
Well, if you don't know, Lucas is this incredibly cute and adorable spider that Mikey doesn't understand apparently. And you can I'll put a link in the description, but you can find literally it has 4 videos out of this spider. You can watch them all in less than 3 minutes. Every one of them's like 30 seconds or less. And just tell me you don't fall in love. It is just the most amazing thing. Captured is my favorite video. I literally love this spider. I don't know what's wrong with you, Mikey. I was hoping that you would watch a video of it right now and you'd fall in love, but you really disappointed me.
I'm sorry. I would love to say that they're great. I don't know what it is. I can't do it.
You have to admit though, it's amazing animation. It's like some of the best animation I've ever seen on YouTube.
And I have to admit that it's cute. It's the principle. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it's.
Lucas must die.
I feel like a traitor. You know, if I support him, then how many other spiders am I supporting? I can't.
I spared a spider's life just because I thought maybe he's related to Lucas. That's what happened. So,
yeah, that's a good choice in reality to make. Good job on that one.
Yeah,
10 points for you.
If you subscribe to the Lucas channel, like they'll randomly do like one of the things they did recently. They had a screen grab of the video coming up, and I think they actually released this one already. But it was Lucas playing a musical instrument, and I saw it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's he gonna do with it? Like I was so excited about it. It's amazing. I love Lucas. You need to check Lucas out. He's my favorite. And if you hate spiders, I guess then suck it up. All right, Mikey, what's awesome this week that I can crush?
So I don't think you're gonna want to crush this.
Okay.
I found something that's really awesome. So if you guys are ever wanting to get into a podcast or create your own podcast, but don't really have any equipment, and don't really want to get into all that, you just want to put your content out there. There's this really neat app called Anchor. Apparently, it's something that's been around for a while. but they've really amped up what they're capable of doing. Basically, their motto is the easiest way to make a podcast ever. You can record a high quality podcast, host unlimited episodes, and distribute everywhere within just one click. Plus, it's 100% free. Now, the owner of Anchor reportedly said that it's going to be free forever. I'm always skeptical when I hear that, but one of the things that you can do here is you can use your mobile phone to record the podcast, which I think there's other apps that do this, but what's really unique about Anchor is that I can, if I say I have Anchor and I start up the podcast, I can have people call in and ask me questions. I can have them connect directly into the podcast, or I can have callers call in and leave little messages for me that I can listen to and answer and respond if I choose to. There's just a lot of functionality within a tiny little app on your phone that you can do. If you're wanting to do just a quick and dirty podcast, say you're at an event somewhere and you don't necessarily have an environment where you can set up, or you want something that can get out immediately. I think this is a great practical application for that. It seems like a neat app. I haven't actually tested it out myself yet. Based off of what they're promising, it sounds really cool.
Okay. I literally hate you right now.
Why?
Because I literally just started. So we host our podcast on SoundCloud. And I've never heard of this. I just started paying for SoundCloud, and it's like for unlimited storage, it's like $15 a month.
Now, I'd like to point out, before this episode started, I actually told Titus, hey, I have something really cool, something that we may want to use, and that you're probably going to be a little aggravated with me about. And this is that moment that you get to see where Titus is a little aggravated. I literally just found out about this, I think late last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was looking at some stuff and I came across it. I actually think I first saw it on an article on Lifehacker.
How do they make money? Sorry,
and see,
I'm just like, my jaw is just open right now. Like, how do they make money doing this?
And that's what I don't understand.
They literally have like 20 employees.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So if you want to host your own podcast like us and do it the smart way and free way, then maybe check Anchor out. Although we don't know anything about it other than that it's free and it sounds cool.
And from what I heard, there's you can't do it on your phone, but on the actual I don't know if it's on the website or if it has a app for your computer. I'm not sure on that. That's a little fuzzy for me. But you can upload like outside audio, so you can record your podcast like how we're doing, in Audacity or whatever, and then upload that in there to host it on there. So you don't have to use the app to create the podcast.
Yeah, it looks like it'll host it for free, yeah, and then give you analytics. See, SoundCloud charges for analytics. They won't tell you anything unless you pay.
Yeah, I don't see. It says no storage limits, no trial period, no catch. And for me, like, the words "no catch" always like throw up a red flag and make me feel like there's a catch. Sometimes there's not, but I don't know. I'm always skeptical, but it definitely sounds exciting and something worth trying out. It even especially for people that are wanting to do, like I said, the quick and dirty podcast where they don't want to go out and buy equipment. They just want to be able to use their phone that they already paid lots of money for and just create a podcast.
So, okay. And apparently they have a way for you to import your existing podcast.
Yes.
Genius. Wow. Well, I say genius. I have no idea that they're making money. That's the part. I would need to learn about that. I wonder if they insert ads at the top or something. Like they add their own ads or something.
Yeah, and you can right from there, you can distribute it to all the major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music. With just one click.
And even if they added ads and they gave you a cut, that would be pretty slick. That'd be like a really easy way to do it. Okay, we're gonna look into this more, and if we end up doing anything with it, we will keep you posted. But that is really cool.
I have to agree. That's why I picked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate you.
Yeah. Definitely better than Lucas the Spider. Just
right.
saying.
Well, I feel stupid about doing SoundCloud, but it is also possible that you could get your podcast hosted on this and they could close up shop immediately and you won't have a chance to download your podcast or whatever. So if you do decide to use this, I would definitely save a version of every single of your episodes so that way you don't accidentally you can upload them somewhere else later if you need to.
And realistically, that's good advice for wherever you're uploading. It doesn't matter. Save those copies, because last thing you need is a website saying that they're coming down and that their servers crashed, so there's nothing they can do for you. Sorry, have a nice day.
For sure.
And then you're the one that's, out of luck.
All right, questions and comments of the week. This one is from L. Huang. There's only one this week. By the way, Mikey, this was actually on the podcast channel. So this was not on the Search for Awesome channel, which is the channel I've had for a while. He says, and this was on the first episode, I believe. I think this is when we talked about this. Love your analysis about MoviePass. Totally agree on MoviePass, on the MoviePass strategy, and MoviePass will come out as a winner because they have the support from the customer. Thank you, El Hoing, for the comment. And I agree with you because you agree with me. But I will say that, they have support, but they're offering a service that on paper seems like a money loser. But as we talked about a few weeks ago, they actually might be able to make this a really profitable business. And I think they're on their way if they can get AMC to cave in and give them a cut of the profits. But I have not heard any updates on that. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I do think that they're definitely depending on getting those profits, though, or part of the profits, I should say. But with this said, since someone mentioned MoviePass, I did want to mention you, Mikey. I had 2 bad experiences with MoviePass recently.
Really?
One was my fault, and the other was, we'll see about that one. So the first one was we went to go see a movie with Leslie's family, which is Leslie's my wife. If you don't know Mikey, that's the person I married. Your wife's best friend, in case you forgot.
Who?
Leslie, the girl. She lives with me. We're married. You were at the wedding. You don't.
I don't think I know who that is.
Okay, well,
I'll pretend. I'll pretend. Leslie.
Okay, Leslie. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
She's brunette, right? She's a brunette.
No, she's not.
Redhead.
No, you're literally
blonde.
Mentioning all the hair colors. That dirty blonde.
I knew that. Yeah, I totally knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Leslie is like a sister to me, so trust me, I know who Leslie is.
Well, we went to go see a movie with Leslie's family. Leslie's mom, I called her to kind of figure out how we're going to get tickets and stuff like that because I had my MoviePass ready. I was like, I'm going to get to use MoviePass. I've only used it like twice so far. And then I called her and I'm like, hey, when are we going to do that? And blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, don't worry. Like, I already picked up the tickets already. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And I didn't have the heart to tell her, like, yeah, you didn't have to do that. In fact, now we're gonna have to pay you for tickets that we didn't need to pay you for. Like,
right?
Anyway.
Like, thanks for that.
That was a crappy experience, but that was on me for sure. I should have told her that not to buy us tickets. The second one was definitely on MoviePass, but they did a pretty okay job at making it right. So we went to go see a movie last night. We wanted to see Black Panther. And we're at a movie theater, and it was one of these special movie theaters that have like seats, Mikey. Like, and I guess if MoviePass has it in their system, they'll actually let you buy the ticket ahead of time because normally you have to be like right at the theater to buy the ticket.
Yeah.
So this one will actually let you buy ahead of time. But when I went to go buy the ticket, like it would say select a seat from below, and it was just a blank space. There was no seats. And I looked at another movie, a different time, no seats, just blank space. And I'm like, yeah, this seems like a bug. And they just updated their app, by the way, so it looks totally different. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they updated the app and they made it worse. Way to go, guys.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I really love when developers do that. They don't like test all their features and stuff. So I go to contact them on my phone, and then I pulled out Leslie's phone because we had to do it on both phones because we both have MoviePass. And same thing on her phone, wasn't showing up. So I go on the support chat because they don't have a phone number or anything. You have to do it through this chat service. And I go through her phone and do the support chat service. And I let them know the situation. And I'm just sitting there. We're literally sitting there at the theater. The movie's about to start. And like crickets. They're not saying anything to either of us. Finally, after about 20 minutes, I want to say, Leslie gets a word back from them saying, please reinstall the app. That might fix the problem, whatever. Which, by the way, I reached out on my phone 5 minutes before Leslie's phone. So I'm already a little bit bitter that they're responding to her. Like, what is this? Like, anyway. And so literally no one responds to mine. So I reinstall the app, doesn't help. I contact them again. Guess what they say to do, Mikey?
To reinstall the app.
They say to reinstall the app again. And I'm like, no, I already done that. there has to be another solution. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I don't hear anything from them for like another 20 minutes. And I'm just literally, I'm like so mad I can't get words out. Like,
laughing mad.
We're literally, yeah, I'm not that mad, but we're literally just sitting at the theater, sitting on their nice cushy couch, just waiting to hear back. So finally, like, they respond to Leslie again. By the way, still haven't responded to me. Like, and they'd say, okay, tell us what movie you want to see, what theater. We'll load it up, and then you can just swipe the card at the theater. That works. And then I'm like, okay, now that you got it working for my husband, I'm speaking as if I'm Leslie. So now that you've got it working for me, can you get it working for my husband? And they're like, okay, I'll see what I can do. 10 minutes passes. Finally, I get a response on my phone. Luckily, it was not, please reinstall the app, because I would have lost my... Anyway, like, it was that. And then they get it set up. So literally, we're sitting in the theater for like 45 minutes just waiting to get this set up. We missed the movie we wanted to see, but it sold out anyway, so it didn't matter. But they did work it out. But here's the thing. Like, MoviePass is great until you have a problem. And that's like most of these like cheap services. Like, I mean, last I heard they had over 2 million subscribers. So I imagine they are not staffed to deal with a lot of these problems, especially considering they said they were having like a major outage. You know, MoviePass is great until you have a problem. And and if you have a problem, just reinstall the app. Apparently that solves all issues. So anyway, yeah, but I still like the service. I'm going to give them more chances. I honestly was like this close to canceling while I was at the theater because I was like that mad. I'm just sitting there for 45 minutes, but they worked it out, so I can forgive them this one time. But all right, so that is it for the podcast this week. If you guys have any questions or feedback, email podcast@thesearchforawesome.co. That is podcast@thesearchforawesome.co, not com.co.co. No one has still said anything to our email, Mikey, so I'm a little sad, but maybe somebody will throw us a bone and just say hi. That'd be great. Or you can just comment below if that's easier.
Guys, please do me a favor and send him an email. It's going to get to the point where he's going to get depressed about it. Like, you can't keep him going like this and not send an email. Just send him something. Just like, hey, listen to the podcast. Have a good day. Anything. Just send it.
I promised I wouldn't cry. No,
Don't do it. Don't do it. You promised.
You can't get that back. A couple announcements, though. We're not going to do... I didn't even tell you this, Mikey. We're going to take a week off. We're going to take 1 week off. And the reason why we're taking a week off is I was working on a Search for Awesome video that I want to have out soon. I'm doing a video review of the Xbox One S, but this is for non-gamers. So this is... I'm trying to convince people who don't play games to buy the Xbox One S, which will be interesting to try. But never fear, we talked about having a bonus episode of these Up and Vanish podcasts. So we did one about Serial last week where we basically discussed the case, discussed the stuff that happened in there. We gave what we thought was our thoughts on that particular case. No spoilers right now, but next week we'll be releasing the Up and Vanish ones, and there will be spoilers in that podcast. So we'll be talking about everything about Up and Vanish, every episode, every detail, everything. Well, not every episode. We're not going to get that detailed. But we're going to be talking about all the details of Up and Vanished, and we're going to be giving our opinions about it. And we're not going to give spoilers right now, but come that podcast, we are going to be doing total spoilers, and we're going to give you guys our thoughts and totally unbarred. So we're excited to do that, and we'll be releasing that instead of our regular episode next week.
Go listen to the Serial one we did. If you've actually already listened to these podcasts, please, I cannot reiterate enough that make sure you've actually gone through these series, or you plan on not going through it and you don't mind spoilers, because it'll spoil the life out of those podcasts if you haven't.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you'd even enjoy it if you haven't or listened to them. I say that because I don't think we really go through the complete story, but we talk about a lot of the details, so you might be able to piece it together. So we learned a lot from that one, so we're going to be doing another one next week. So be staying tuned for that, and we will see you guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next week for the bonus episode, but we'll see you the week after that for another episode of the Search for Awesome podcast. Bye, you guys.
Bye.